The galaxy was loud. For thousands of years, alien empires fought each other for power. Big fleets moved across space. Planets burned. New wars started every day. Everyone wanted control. Everyone wanted to be the strongest. But in one small corner of the galaxy, there was silence. That place was called human space. No one cared about it. No one feared it. Humans were new. Weak. Slow. At least, that is what everyone believed. Alien leaders often laughed when they talked about Earth. They are too emotional. They fight among themselves. They will never survive a real war. To the galaxy, humans were nothing special. Just another young species that would disappear one day. And so, they ignored them. Years passed. Then one day, something changed. A small alien patrol fleet was sent near human space. It was a simple mission. Just scanning. Just watching. They did not expect trouble. They did not expect war. They thought it would be easy. The patrol ships moved slowly through the dark. The captain, a tall gray-skinned alien, sat calmly in his chair. He had seen many battles. He had destroyed many enemies. To him, humans were not even worth thinking about. Any signs of activity? He asked. One of his officers checked the screen. Nothing, Captain. No signals. No ships. No defense systems. The captain smiled slightly. Just as expected, he said. Humans are still hiding. The crew relaxed. Some even laughed quietly. The ships moved deeper into human space. Still nothing. No warnings. No messages. No movement. Just silence. But then, one officer frowned. Captain. I am detecting something. The room became quiet again. What is it? The captain asked. I don't know, it's very faint. The officer adjusted the sensors. The signal grew stronger. Something was there. Something big. But it was not moving. Put it on the main screen, the captain ordered. The dark space appeared in front of them. At first, they saw nothing. Just empty space. Then slowly, a shape appeared. Huge. Black. Cold. The crew stopped breathing. What is that? Someone whispered. The object was massive. Bigger than any ship they had ever seen. Its surface was dark, almost invisible against space. No lights. No markings. No signs of life. It looked dead. The captain narrowed his eyes. Scan it, he said. The officer tried. No response. No signal. It's not even there. That made no sense. Every ship had energy. Every ship had a signal. But this one had nothing. It was like a shadow. The captain felt something strange. Something he did not understand. A small feeling, deep inside. He ignored it. Move closer, he ordered. The ship slowly approached the giant object. Closer. Closer. Still nothing. No movement. No reaction. See, the captain said. Just a dead structure. Humans are hiding behind ruins now. Some of the crew laughed again. But one officer was still watching the screen carefully. Captain. I don't like this. Before the captain could answer, something happened. A small light appeared on the surface of the giant ship. Then another. Then another. One by one, lights started turning on. Blue lights. Cold lights. Alive lights. The laughter stopped. The silence returned. But this time, it was different. Heavy. Dark. Dangerous. The giant ship was waking up. Lines appeared across its surface. Weapons moved into position. Energy started to build. The sensors suddenly came alive. "Captain," the officer shouted. "I am detecting massive power levels." "How is that possible?" the captain snapped. "It was 0 before. Now it was too late." The truth was clear. This was not a dead ship. This was not a ruin. This was a weapon. A human weapon. The giant battleship slowly turned, facing the alien fleet. Like a predator, looking at its prey. The captain felt it again. That strange feeling. But now he understood it. It was fear. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. "Raise shields," he shouted. "Prepare weapons." But deep inside, he already knew. It would not be enough. Because this was not a normal enemy. This was something new. Something the galaxy had never seen before. Something humans had been hiding, for a very long time. The battleship's main gun began to glow. Bright. Silent. Deadly. And in that moment, the galaxy changed forever. Because humanity was never weak. They were just waiting. The alien fleet did not fire. For a few seconds, no one moved. The human battleship floated in silence, its weapons glowing softly in the dark. The alien captain stared at the screen. His mind was racing. This was wrong. Everything was wrong. Humans were not supposed to have ships like this. They were not supposed to have this kind of power. "Open a channel," he said slowly. His voice was calm, but his hands were not. The officer obeyed. "Channel open, Captain." The captain spoke. "This is Commander Varek of the Zorith Patrol Fleet. You are in restricted space. Identify yourself." There was silence. No reply. The human ship did not move. It did not speak. It only watched. Seconds felt like minutes. Then suddenly, a signal came. "Incoming transmission," the officer said. "Put it through." A human voice filled the room. Calm. Cold. Clear. "You have crossed into protected space." The captain leaned forward. "This region is not marked." There was no warning. "There is now," the human voice replied. No anger. No fear. Just control. The captain felt it again. That pressure. That quiet fear growing stronger. "You will leave immediately," the human voice continued. "No further warning will be given." The alien crew looked at each other. This was not how things worked. In the galaxy, power was shown with force. With threats. With loud voices. But this was different. This was quiet confidence. The captain's pride did not allow him to back down. "We have the right to explore this sector," he said. "You do not control this part of space." There was a short pause. Then the human voice spoke again. "You are correct." That surprised everyone. The captain almost smiled. But then, the voice continued. "We do not control it." The crew looked confused. Then the voice finished the sentence. "We protect it." The captain's smile disappeared. Before he could respond, the human battleship moved. Not fast. Not loud. But smooth. Perfect. Like it had already planned this moment. "Captain," the officer shouted. "Multiple targets locked on us." "How many?" the captain asked quickly. The officer's eyes widened. "All of them." The alien ships activated shields. Weapons powered up. But something felt wrong. The human ship was still alone. Just one ship. And yet, it felt like they were surrounded. Scan the area, the captain ordered. The sensors expanded. Searching. Looking deeper into the dark. And then, they found them. Hidden. Silent. Waiting. More human ships. Dozens of them. Maybe more. All invisible before. All watching. All ready. The alien fleet was not exploring anymore. They were trapped. The captain's throat went dry. How long, he whispered. How long were they there? The officer answered softly. They were here the whole time. The truth hit hard. Humans were not weak. They were patient. They were not slow. They were careful. While the galaxy was fighting loud wars, humans were learning. Watching. Preparing. They studied every battle. Every weapon. Every mistake. They did not rush into war. They waited until they were ready to win. Captain, one crew member said. What do we do? The captain did not answer immediately. He was thinking. For the first time, he was not thinking about winning. He was thinking about survival. The human voice returned. You have 10 seconds to leave. No anger. No emotion. Just a simple fact. The captain clenched his fists. His pride was fighting his fear. But deep inside, he knew the truth. If they stayed, they would not leave alive. Prepare to retreat, he said quietly. Some of the crew looked shocked. But no one argued. Because they felt it too. That same fear. The countdown began. 10. The human ships did not move. 8. Their weapons stayed locked. 6. The alien engines powered up. 4. The captain took one last look at the human battleship. Cold. Silent. Unstoppable. 2. Jump. The alien fleet disappeared into hyperspace. Gone. Safe. But changed forever. Back on the human ship. The crew did not celebrate. They did not cheer. One officer looked at the captain. Should we follow them? The human captain shook his head. No. They will carry the message. And the galaxy will listen. He turned his eyes back to the stars. Calm. Focused. Ready. Because this was only the beginning. And soon, the galaxy would make a mistake. One they could never take back. The message spread fast. Faster than any ship. Faster than any weapon. Commander Varek returned to his empire with a warning. But no one listened. The High Council of the Zorith Empire sat in a massive hall, filled with light and power. They had ruled for centuries. They had crushed many enemies. To them, this was nothing new. A single encounter scared you, one leader said. You saw shadows and ran. Some of the council members laughed. Varek stood still. His face showed no emotion. But his voice was firm. They are not what you think. They are not weak. They are ready. The room became quieter, but only a little. Another leader spoke. Every species thinks it is strong before war. We will remind them of their place. Varek clenched his jaw. They do not fight like us. That is the problem. But it was too late. The decision was already made. The Zorith Empire would attack. Not with a small fleet. Not with a warning. But with force. A full invasion fleet was prepared. Thousands of warships. Heavy cruisers. Destroyers. Planet breakers. This was not a test. This was war. Days later. The fleet moved. A massive wave of metal and fire entered human space. No fear. No hesitation. Only pride. "This will be quick," one commander said. "Humans will surrender when they see our power." But deep inside the fleet, some crews remembered Varek's words. And they were not so sure. The fleet moved deeper. Closer to Earth. Closer to the unknown. Then, the first signal appeared. Human transmission. Simple. Clear. "You are entering a war zone. Turn back." The alien commander smiled. "Too late for that. Continue forward." The fleet did not stop. Weapons charged. Shields ready. Victory was expected. Then, everything went dark. For 1 second, all systems flickered. The ships shook slightly. "What was that?" someone asked. No answer. Then, the stars disappeared. Not really gone, but blocked. Huge shadows moved across space. The alien fleet slowed. Confusion spread. Report. The sensors came back online. And what they showed changed everything. Human ships. Not dozens. Not hundreds. Thousands. They were everywhere. Above. Below. Behind. In front. Perfect formation. Silent. Waiting. The alien fleet was surrounded. "No, this is not possible," the commander whispered. But it was. The human fleet had been there the whole time. Hidden. Watching. Just like before. But now, on a much larger scale. "This is your final warning," the human voice said. "Leave now, or be destroyed." The alien commander stood up. His pride burned stronger than his fear. "All ships, prepare to fire." That was the moment. The moment everything changed. The first alien weapon fired. A bright beam cut through space. Heading toward a human ship. For a second, nothing happened. Then, the human ship moved. Fast. Too fast. The beam missed. And before anyone could react, the human fleet attacked. No loud signal. No countdown. Just instant destruction. Blue energy weapons flashed across space. Precise. Deadly. Alien ships exploded one after another. Not random. Not wild. Every shot had a target. Every shot was a kill. Shields failing. "We are losing formation. They are too fast." Panic spread like fire. The alien fleet tried to fight back. But it was chaos. Human ships moved like hunters. Always one step ahead. Always in control. One human battleship fired its main weapon. A single shot. A massive alien cruiser. Gone. No explosion. No debris. Just, erased. "What kind of weapon is that?" someone screamed. No one had an answer. Because no one had seen this before. This was not war. This was domination. Commander Varek watched the battle from a distance. He had been ordered to observe. Not fight. His hands were shaking. "I told them," he whispered. "I told them." On the battlefield. The alien fleet was breaking. Ships tried to escape. But human ships were already there. Blocking. Hunting. Finishing. There was no escape. There was no mercy. Only silence. And destruction. Minutes passed. Then, it was over. The battlefield was empty. Where thousands of alien ships once stood, there was nothing. No survivors. No signals. Only human ships, still in perfect formation. Calm. Untouched. Like nothing had happened. Back on the command ship. The human captain looked at the screen. Report. All enemy targets eliminated. Human losses. A short pause. 0. The captain nodded once. No smile. No emotion. Hold position. Far away. Commander Varek closed his eyes. The truth was clear now. This was not a war the galaxy could win. This was something else. Something worse. Because humanity did not fight to survive. They fought to end the fight completely. And now, the rest of the galaxy would hear about this. And when they did, they would understand one thing. They had made a terrible mistake. The battle did not stay hidden. It could not. Too many signals were recorded. Too many sensors had watched. Even in deep space, someone is always listening. Within hours, fragments of the battle spread across the galaxy. Short clips. Broken transmissions. Last messages from dying ships. At first, no one believed it. This is fake. No fleet can disappear that fast. Not even the old empires could do this. But then, more data arrived. Clear data. Full recordings. And the truth could not be denied anymore. Entire fleets, gone. In minutes. Without a chance to fight back. Without a chance to run. The galaxy did something it had not done in a very long time. It stopped. Wars paused. Fleets held position. Leaders called emergency meetings. Because something new had appeared. Something unknown. Something dangerous. In the Grand Assembly, where the strongest empires gathered, silence filled the room. Massive holograms showed the battle again and again. Human ships moving with perfect timing. Alien ships breaking apart like they were nothing. One leader finally spoke. This is not normal warfare. Another replied. This is not warfare at all. They are not fighting. They are ending fights. The word stayed in the air. Heavy. Uncomfortable. A third leader leaned forward. How did we not see this coming? No one answered. Because deep inside, they all knew. They were too busy fighting each other. Too busy showing power. Too busy being loud. While humans stayed quiet. Watched. Learned. Prepared. A smaller empire representative spoke carefully. They were never weak. They were waiting. That idea spread quickly across the room. And no one laughed this time. Because now, it made sense. Every strange signal. Every silent year. Every missing report near human space. It was not emptiness. It was control. Far from the assembly. On distant planets. Regular citizens watched the news. Fear spread fast. Is it true? Did they really destroy a full fleet? Are humans coming for us? Markets closed. Ships stayed in orbit. Travel stopped. For the first time in centuries. The galaxy felt uncertain. Back in Zorith space. Commander Varek stood alone in a dark room. The battle recording played in front of him. Again. And again. He watched every moment. Every movement. Every mistake. But there was one thing he could not find. A weakness. There was none. The door opened behind him. A high-ranking official entered. We are receiving messages, the official said. Other empires are asking about humans. Varek did not turn. What do we tell them? The official hesitated. Then asked quietly. Can we fight them? Varek finally spoke. No. The answer was simple. Clear. Final. The official felt cold hearing it. Then what do we do? Varek looked at the screen one last time. The human ships, still perfect, still calm. We hope they do not decide we are a threat. That answer spread quickly. From one empire to another. From leaders to soldiers. From soldiers to citizens. Fear. Not loud fear. Not panic. But a deep, quiet fear. The kind that stays. The kind that changes decisions. For the first time. The galaxy was not asking. Who is the strongest? They were asking. Will humans attack next? Back in human space. Everything was calm. No celebrations. No victory speeches. No public messages. Just silence. Inside one of the massive battleships. An officer spoke. The galaxy is reacting. The captain stood still, looking at the stars. Of course they are. They finally see. The officer paused. Should we send a message? The captain thought for a moment. Then nodded slowly. Yes. A simple one. Hours later. Every major system in the galaxy received the same transmission. No threat. No anger. Just words. Clear. Short. Cold. Humanity does not seek war. A pause. Then the final line. But we will not lose one. Across the galaxy. No one spoke after hearing it. No one laughed. No one argued. Because everyone understood the meaning. This was not a warning. This was a promise. And for the first time in history, the galaxy was not preparing for war. It was preparing for humans. The galaxy changed, but not with fire. With silence. For the first time in thousands of years, the great empires did not move their fleets. Warships stayed in orbit. Weapons powered down. Borders closed. Not because of peace. But because of fear. No one wanted to be next. In the Grand Assembly, the leaders met again. But this time, no one argued. No one shouted. The room that was once full of pride, now felt heavy. Careful. One leader finally spoke. We cannot fight them. No one disagreed. Another asked. Then what are they planning? That question had no easy answer. Because humans were not like them. They did not show their full strength. They did not speak too much. They did not react with emotion. They acted, only when needed. And that made them more dangerous than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Far away, in human space. The Great Fleet was still there. Massive ships floating in perfect formation. Silent. Watching. Waiting. Inside the command ship, the human captain stood alone. A young officer entered the room. The galaxy has stopped all major conflicts, the officer said. Reports say, they are afraid of us. The captain did not react. Fear is not our goal, he said calmly. The officer hesitated. Then what is? The captain looked at the stars. Stability. Simple. Clear. Different. Because humans did not want endless war. They had seen it before. On their own world. They knew its cost. That is why they prepared. Not to start wars. But to end them. A signal arrived. Multiple empires are requesting communication, the officer said. They want peace talks. The captain nodded once. Send them a meeting point. The officer looked surprised. All of them? Yes. The message went out. And for the first time, the most powerful empires in the galaxy were traveling. Not to fight, but to talk. Days later, a massive station in deep space became the center of the galaxy. Ships from every empire arrived. Huge. Powerful. But this time, they came quietly. No weapons charged. No threats. Just caution. Then, the human fleet arrived. They did not rush. They did not show force. But their presence filled the space. Heavy. Unavoidable. One by one, human battleships took position around the station. Perfect. Controlled. The message was clear without words. They did not need to show power. Everyone already knew it. Inside the station, leaders from across the galaxy gathered. Some were old enemies. Some had fought for centuries. But now, they all had the same focus. Humans. The doors opened. Human representatives entered. No armor. No weapons. Just calm faces. Simple uniforms. But every eye followed them. Because behind them was the strongest force the galaxy had ever seen. A leader from a major empire spoke first. "What do you want?" The human representative answered without delay. "Peace." Some leaders looked confused. Others looked suspicious. After destroying a full fleet, one asked. The human did not deny it. "You came to our space with war. We ended it." The room fell silent. No one could argue with that. Another leader spoke carefully. "And if we refuse peace?" The human looked directly at them. Not angry. Not threatening. Just honest. "Then nothing changes." The meaning was clear. They would not beg. They would not chase. They would simply win again. And this time, everyone knew it. Long silence followed. Then slowly, one leader stood. "We accept." Another followed. "And we agree." One by one, empires that once ruled through war chose peace. Not because they became better, but because they finally met something stronger. Something smarter. Something unstoppable. Later, as the meeting ended, ships began to leave. But the galaxy was not the same anymore. Wars had stopped. Not completely. But enough. Because now, there was a line no one wanted to cross. Human space. Back on the command ship, the officer spoke again. "It worked." The captain nodded. "For now." The officer looked at him. "You think it will not last?" The captain's eyes stayed on the stars. "Peace always breaks." A pause. Then he added quietly. "But this time, it will last longer. Because now, the galaxy had learned something it would never forget. Humans were peaceful. But they were not weak. And if pushed, they would not fight for survival. They would fight to finish the war. Forever. And in the deep silence of space, where no one could see, human ships were still watching. Still learning. Still preparing. Just in case. The galaxy forgot again.